Have you ever wondered what your life's purpose is? When we look at the world today and we take a global view, uh, it seems to me there's a great deal of chaos, a great deal of confusion, many conflicting goals, broken relationships. There's a lot going on. But it probably doesn't have to be like that. So, as a student of mindfulness, I find myself asking questions. How can we serve? So, an interesting examination is, what is my life's purpose? One answer might be that your life's purpose might be to learn unconditional love, magnificent generosity, and total freedom. However, I know from experience that's not what a lot of people experience. What we experience is something quite different. First of all, we have a view that we're a separated self. I'm this body, the skin line is the boundary, and everything that goes on in here is me, and everything that goes on out there is not me. And that's the duality model. And I think if we found our life's purpose of learning to love unconditionally, magnificent generosity, I think it would be the end of duality. But of course, we don't make that leap, that transition in one short go. We have to find out some basics along the way. One of the things I quite enjoy, there's a couple of handouts that we give to people when they first meet us. And one is, there's a hole in my sidewalk. And it's a very simple piece of prose, but very lovely, and everybody gets it. It says, I walked down the street and there was a hole in the sidewalk and I fell in. It wasn't my fault, and it was very difficult to get out. And then it goes on that he carried on walking and fell through another hole and another. And he kept doing this every day. And I think that's what happens for many of us. It certainly was my case anyway, that there was many habits that I had that I repeated over and over again. And so we all have habits that sometimes don't serve us. They don't dish up magnificent generosity. They don't dish up unconditional love. They dish up suffering, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on and on. So what I want to suggest to you, that it isn't so difficult. It isn't. We have three instruments to get to know ourselves very, very well. We have a mind, we have a body, we have emotions. And once we learn to just examine those, it can become fascinating and interesting. So let's take the mind. Well, the mind is meant to be a servant, but as Plato said a couple of thousand years ago, it's a terrible, terrible tyrant. So we need to learn to be able to use our mind intelligently. And there's a simple thing that we can do to see if we can do it. Close your eyes, count to 10, open your eyes. Did the mind, was it biddable? Did it allow you to count? Yes, of course it did. Another exercise that we do is to close our eyes. Imagine we're drawing a triangle with imaginary chalk on the blackboard. And most people can do that. And again, we see the witnessing aspect of the mind, very biddable. And so it's not such a stretch. If we just practice a little bit of mindfulness each day and come off of automatic pilot. Our automatic pilot sometimes has us saying that we're not good, we're not this, we're not that. Or we might have a strong critical bias and we think, I'm everybody's banjack, so I'm stuck, or maybe, and again, this was me at one stage, we might have the kind of peacock feather stance, preening ourselves and say how magnificent I am, but how dumb everybody else is. And again, that doesn't lead to unconditional love. In fact, it keeps us trapped in the prison of duality. Mindfulness is really a terrific practice. It needn't be heavy duty, simple exercises every day, teaching us to wake up to our real reality, beyond duality, and find out that we can actually live a life of unconditional love for ourselves, unconditional love for others, and experience total freedom. So if you'd like to know more, my name's Joseph Garrity, and you can find us on the website. Thanks for listening.